Hello, everybody. We're back here again at Talk Football Live. We have been away for a couple of weeks, but that's not because we haven't, been present and monitoring everything that's going on. We are here to give you every little bit of information, with all the transfers going in with every club ahead of the English Premier League. It is kicking off this Friday. And I have my co-hosts here, Biodun and
Guys,
Charles. We're
nice
going to
to
be
be back.
focusing on what we think our top four teams will be and why we think those teams, are the front runners for those top four key spots for the Champions League. Charles, how are things? How are you feeling ahead of this season?
Feeling great. Feeling great. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Yeah, I'm feeling great because this season, I feel like this is the season. This is the season that Pep leaves and let us take back our Premier League. Let's take it back to a competitive league because Pep have come and scattered everything.
Man, it's
But
ridiculous.
you said
Four
what?
four seasons in a row.
4 seasons in a row, about to be five. I'm already throwing out my top of predictions, sadishly like that. But the way I see it, with rumors, I mean, we got news today that the one in charges they're gonna start, probing into it, and I don't know if the verdict is gonna be early next year or if they're gonna start investigating early next year. Whatever the case is, I think this is one reason Pep may really, really decide to leave because when Ama hits the gavel, whatever they say, gavel hits the stone, you don't want to be there. Now we know they're probably gonna be fine. They'll pay off money. We don't know what's gonna happen. But we know nothing's probably really gonna happen. But you really don't want to be there if something is gonna happen. But putting that aside, we're talking about top four today. The Premier League starting this Friday, and me personally, I'm excited. I think this is the year that now I mentioned a statement earlier that Pep will win the fifth one, but I'm not an
Mm.
Arsenal fan. I don't support you guys, but I think this may be the year for the Gunners. I think it can happen this year.
Mm.
Third time is the
Chelsea,
charm. Like I'm
no
sorry.
Chelsea. You guys have raided all of Brazil.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Now for
Okay.
Chelsea, so basically, I'll throw my top of prediction. I'll tell you why, and I'm doing it in no particular order because I really think Arsenal can do it, but I don't have that much faith in you guys because Pep is still there. If Pep wasn't the coach of Man City, I would boldly give it to you guys easily because Ateta has been building the track record. But as long as Pep is still there, 4 times in a row is not. A bet team I will pick Pep, so I'm picking Pep as number one. I'm picking you guys as number two, but if you guys get number one and Man City gets number two, I won't be surprised. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm saying Man
Mm.
City one, Arsenal two. For the third and fourth spot, Chelsea has been doing a great business, this summer. Although I'm still waiting for that super striker they need to buy. I'm hearing the Osimhen deal is still ongoing. Hopefully that gets sealed. I think Chelsea will be in the top four, probably the fourth spot. I won't give us the third spot yet. The Joker, in my prediction, is the third spot. There are so many options: Man U, Spurs, Liverpool, Aston Villa. Based on the fact that they made it this year, this last season. But I'm giving it to Manchester United because just as what's his name, Ateta has been improving over the years.
Mhm.
I think Tenag has been improving. The fans may not agree, but two trophies in 2 seasons, and I know he made Champions League 1 year, didn't make it in the next year. But with the buys they've been making this summer, they've kind of solidified that defense. And I just think him getting his job when his job was on the line could give him a chance to really, really step up. And me personally, I'm a Tenag fan. He's a disciplinarian. I really like that about him. I know the results are still shaky, but I think there's something in there. So my prediction would be City, Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea. I'm giving Chelsea number one spot, not just because I'm a fan, but because in the past 2 seasons, Chelsea have they've tried to improve, though they've been changing coaches. I'm tired of new coaches, but they've kind of tried to improve. The previous season was, I think, 12th. The last year, which we all didn't see coming, they ended up being sixth. And with the number of players we bought this summer and those still coming, Pedro Neto's deal was the fastest rumors slash confirmation deal I've ever seen. And yeah, it was so it lasted at 24 hours. We had the rumor, we had it signed. I didn't know how fast I was so
So
shocked.
let
So
me let me pause you there and ask, right? You guys have signed Pedro Neto. Does
yeah.
Pedro Neto start over Copama? Does it mean Copama moves into the 10 position? How do you
Well,
think Maresca lines up with those two if they are fully fit and
it
available?
depends on the coach, which is Maresca. Depends on him. Now, if I were in his shoes, I think Kopama plays behind the striker, and then there's also Nkunku for that position. So I think Kopama and Nkunku will drag for that the behind the striker. If Nkunku starts behind the striker, Kopama can play on the right. I don't see Pedro Neto actually playing on the right. I think he's going to play on the left because right now Noni is on form. Kopama can still play right. I think the problem is on the left. Sterling is the best man on the left right now, and he's not even the best at doing the job. The likes of Modric are not the. So I think Neto was really bought to play on the left. The person who's going to challenge the likes of Palmer on the right and Noni on the right would be if we signed Joao Felix, which is still in the rumor right now. You understand?
Okay.
But I think Pedro Neto was bought for the left because also there's also rumor that Stanley will be going to Juve. So we have all that pending. But safe to say, with all the buys we have, and I really hope we buy a striker in Osimhen, but if it's Jackson and Gui, I think we'll be fine as long as we get those wingers right. I think Chelsea will push for the fourth spot. And I'm not putting Liverpool there. Just one more thing. I'm not putting Liverpool there because I know they're still playing the way they played last year under Club, but it's still a new coach. And I still think when the season really starts, he will see how difficult the EPL is, and then it will really show. And they haven't gotten a new striker that we know that they don't trust him. So yeah. So Man City, Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea. That's my top four.
Interesting. Beardo, what do you think? Thoughts on the top four?
I don't know what Charles is smoking. I don't.
It is a top of my own top four. Give your own top four.
He's been away for the summer, so we don't know what he's been up to.
I don't know what number one. I don't know how you come and you explain other teams' chances when your team are signed over 55 players, right? When your team is spending a lot of money. I mean, I think you need to explain to us why are you spending on players? Why are you buying new players? Why do you have if hold on. If the goal, you can respond after. If the goal is not to win the league, right? If the goal is not to compete, why are you spending that much? Why are you acquiring additional players? Like you have like basically three teams that you can put out. They might not be of the right quality, but you can form 3-4 teams out of your squad right now. So you not even giving that team a chance. I think you just don't want to admit or you just don't want to say publicly that you have an idea of what's going on with your club. I think that's what it is. It doesn't make any sense if you have that much.
I think it's fair to say that
you cannot say that
no Chelsea fan has any idea what's going on. Idea what is going on with Robin.
Do you want me to respond? Do you want me to respond before you continue?
No.
Almost every Chelsea fan I've
just
talked
letting
to. Almost every Chelsea fan I've talked to is not sure of their signings or what's going on with their signings. So I think it seems to me like there's some transfer strategy that the team is running in terms of business, maybe using that to, buy a lot of players, loan them out, develop them, and use that as a way to make transfer fees, maybe to develop the first team with better players or to possibly recoup some of the investment that they spend. Because I mean, as an Arsenal fan, the one that stands out to us is Omari Hutchinson, right? They signed Hutchinson from Arsenal on a free, and they've now sold him on for 18 million, I believe, to Leicester City. So it seems like, and then we've seen this summer they've signed so many youth players from Brazil. It seems like the idea is to bring these kids to Europe, show their talent off in Europe, and then use that as a way to make transfer fees, to all of us.
Human trafficking.
Whatever you want to. But yeah, I know you nailed it on the head. That was well said. But to respond to Biodun, I didn't say my team.
Don't respond yet, right?
No, hold on.
Hold on, don't respond yet, Charles. We want to hear Biodun's top four.
Okay, you spoke for like 5 minutes, bro. So and at the end of the day, you still didn't give Chelsea a chance, winning the league or competing. I mean, I'm just shocked.
You put them for top four.
If you had that much players,
I put them in top four. What else do you want from me?
No. It's just shocking, right? With the university that you guys are building, it's just shocking to hear that. So that's number one. Number two, I'm shocked that you took out Liverpool from contention. I don't know if you looked at Liverpool this preseason, I think it's going to be a problem for all the teams. I mean, you might be right, I might be right. I don't know. We'll find out. But based on the preseason, Liverpool is scary. And that's a team that has not acquired any new player. I'm actually glad when I read earlier today that Zubimendi ruled himself out of the transfer too. So that really gave me some relief because I just can't watch them with the current squad that they have right now, having a DM that can hold the game. So I'm hoping that is the gap that we can then penetrate. I mean, they're still going to keep Endo, right? They're still going to keep Endo. Now, would Endo have a better season than last season? If he did, then that would make sense for Liverpool because that means he's closing that DM role. But last season, he came in, he's fresh. I think he needs time to settle down. But he did well. He did average. So it was okay. So I will not rule out Liverpool. I would say my prediction: the top three from last season will still be the top three. How the other will plan out, I don't know yet until maybe the season start another. One thing I'll also say is what will make the change with the top three from last season. So basically, I'm saying it's still going to be Arsenal, City, Liverpool, right? This season again. Now, I think we'll start seeing the gaps when these teams start having injuries, right? So whoever can manage the health of their team, of their squad, will probably have the better advantage. Because when key players start having injury and start missing important games, that's when you start seeing the challenges with playing Premiership. Like you said, Anslot is new, but I think he's actually taking the role pretty well with some confidence. Seeing the squad and for the fact that they can even convince them to sell Cavallo, which I think had a very good preseason as well. You know, I think he trusts the squad. And he said something, he said, why do I need to buy players if the players they are, they're doing what they have to do. So um watch out for Liverpool. That's all I'm saying. Uh
Yeah.
I would pick Chelsea to finish ahead of Man United. Man United fans are excited, but they won't like what I'm about to say. I'm not sure if they are fixed the problem of, on I don't know whether I should call them unlucky in terms of acquiring and spending on players. Imagine two or three players are injured right now, and that has been their pattern for the last 3 4 seasons. When they rely on some players, they buy them with big money, they bring them on. Like Malaysia has not played since 2020, what 2021 or whatever. He hasn't played in a long time, and he's there on the salary. You know what I mean? Euro newly signed has an injury. Oyland is out. Zexi maybe is not fit. The Leeds landed today. Mazarua,
Mazaru.
yeah. So those guys landed. Honestly, I'm not scared of those two defenders. I think they just be average. It's replacement for them. It's not like they will make them stronger. So I still don't see Man U going all the way to the very end. They might start well. I think they're going to struggle, and I think they're going to have injuries. Instead of buying players, maybe they need to find a good fitness coach and find somebody that would, help them. I not a room actually. I think they reached out to the Arsenal's fitness coach. They tried to acquire him because Arsenal has the least injury. I think one of the teams that had the least injury last season. So I think that's one area that they need to look into. Chelsea, I think they're probably going to have the same pattern coming from behind towards the end of the season, maybe just to save the coach, the job of the coach, but actually not saving the job because we know what happened to Pochettino, still got fired. So uh, Maresca is going to have the same headache that Pochettino had, which is a big squad, right? So he's going to have to figure out how to manage that. Like you said, Noni Madueke, I watched him. He had a very good preseason. So I don't know. To your point, I'm hearing Pedro might play on the left from the first time from a Chelsea fan. I think it's a possibility, but I would like to see that because that's actually a gap. The Modric that, thank God that we dodged. You guys got it. He's not giving you what you need. So you have Sterling, Palmer, um, Pedro,
Nkunku.
Neto, all those guys, on the right now. So you're very good on the right. You're okay on the right. How to cover the other areas. I think you're struggling with the midfield as well. I'm not sure if Casido will be your main man. I see your coach trying out Lavia and Enzo together, also trying Casido. So those are things because he's trying to play the high line. I think that's what he wants to do. The problem is, can your team play that high line? Even City will not play that high line. They play it with possession, like they keep the ball away from you. And City that plays that, people need to understand that Arsenal might have beaten them in terms of the best defense in the league, but they actually have one of the best defense in the entire Europe. Like their players are like top class defender, and that's something that he has built and he keeps building every season. Like Vardiol last season, Akonji before Vardiol, you know. it builds on that. So if you're going to play that, you need to have a very solid defenders that can do that job. Moving on to other teams, I think Villa will probably still make top four again. I think people should look out for Tottenham. I think those signings are great. They're not just relying on, they have Timo Werner, then they have Solanke right now, and they still have Richarlison who has refused to go to Saudi. So they're gonna have three strikers, right, in case injury happens. So they'll be good. The only gap is if Madison gets injured, then that's a gap, which I pray he happens so that, because they might not win anything, but they can be spoiler. So and they have a very good manager. Hangel is very good. So Tottenham is there, watch out for them. Aston Villa is there, watch out for them. I was going to be worried. I was concerned earlier, about Crystal Palace chances, not winning anything, but actually just being a challenge. But now that they are getting some of their players out, I think it's going to weaken Crystal Palace. So I think I'll be okay with little clubs like that did very well towards the end of last season, like Crystal Palace. The weekend right now, Eberechieze, we don't know if he's going to stay, but Ulisse is definitely out. I think the third bid for Magay is going to go. I think Newcastle is going to have him. So Newcastle too, that was a channel last season. I don't see them contending. They don't have money. So you're seeing all those people fading out of top six. So which is good. So I think at the end of the day, the top six is going to be Arsenal, Liverpool, City, uh, maybe Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Aston Villa. That's seven. So I think it's still going to be those seven. Who wins the league? As you said, as a betting man, I will bet. I wouldn't bet against City. That's the
Yeah.
fact. I think they still have the best squad. But can Arsenal challenge without injury? I think so. Without striker, we can play different variations. So I think we still stand a chance. If we don't win it, it's going to be sad, but we might just end up second again. But I see Liverpool also having the opportunity for winning this. So any one of our City, Arsenal, Liverpool can win this league. That's what I see right now.
So
Until
what's your top four?
those three plus Villa, same thing.
So the same people that won top four last year.
Yep,
Exactly. Okay.
that's what I see.
I can respond now. Quick thoughts.
Yeah, so funny enough, this is rare, but Beto and I actually agree in terms of the top four.
Interesting.
I see City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and I'm picking Liverpool. Again, I know you said you don't pay attention to preseason, but what I've seen from Liverpool in this preseason was scary.
Not
And
that I
that
don't
was
pay.
without them having. Huh?
I said not that I don't pay attention. I just don't give it full as much credit as people do.
No, no, we know the reason behind that. If you're doing okay, you will give attention to it. I know it's just
No,
not.
no, that's not it. We did
Come on,
okay
man.
last year.
So,
No, no, you didn't. You didn't.
the
We won
reason
it.
You were
the reason
okay,
why I'm
but
picking
it wasn't
Liverpool,
okay.
is
We
it's
won
a
a
new
trophy
manager.
last year, so yeah, we did okay.
But preseason is the time when you get to see what the team and the manager have been working on in preseason, right
It
ahead
doesn't.
of the new season. And when you see what Liverpool is doing in terms of, I mean, we talked about, everybody has talked about Klopp's getting press, but he kind of let off that. I think Liverpool kind of took the foot off that getting press. What I've
Mhm.
seen from Liverpool in preseason is that they've gone back full on getting press. Like they lose the ball and it's full on pressing from 3, 4 players immediately. Um, I was surprised, like Gordon mentioned as well, to see that they sold Fabio Carvalho because his movement, his link up play, he scored two excellent goals in preseason. Like he looked like he was a shoe in for that left-sided side of the three. You know, where I think they had a mixture of Gravenberch and Curtis Jones, along with Endo and Soboslai or McAllister, depending on who was fit and who the manager was starting. But all their results, I don't think they lost any game in preseason. They beat both Arsenal and Man U. And that was without Van Dijk. That was without Nunes. That was without Luis Diaz.
Without
I think
Gapo.
Soboslai, huh?
Without Gapo.
Without Gapo. And those are players who most likely will
Great.
start or will play almost every game during the season. So
Yep.
to have recorded those results, and I mean, when they beat Arsenal, Arsenal was at full strength. Arsenal wasn't missing any players. We've signed Calafiori, but he wasn't supposed to start anyways. I think he had just been signed. Everybody else was available pretty much. So that
Yeah.
was interesting. So I am picking Liverpool in that top four. I also think Aston Villa will still get in there for a few reasons. They've kept Watkins, who Watkins is. It wasn't just form; he's actually improved himself as a player. He's capable of doing everything.
Yep.
We even saw in the Euros that they could take off Kane and bring Watkins in. That's how reliable Watkins is now, and he was trusted ahead of the likes of Ivan Tony,
That's funny.
Anthony Gordon. Like those are decent players, but Watkins is up there at that level now. They've brought in Amadou Onana, who is
Yeah.
a reliable option off the bench. I don't think he will start. They have Emi Buendia back, who was supposed to be, their key number 10. He was injured pretty much all of last season, and they have him now. Diaby is gone, but Morgan Rogers, I don't know if you guys paid attention to Morgan Rogers last season, but he was impressive. That kid doesn't lose the ball and he creates chances, he causes havoc. So I think Rogers will get more of a chance in the first team this season. I still expect Aston Villa in there. Now, for the others, we think of the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Tottenham, and who else? I'm missing someone else.
Man
Man
United.
U, Man
United.
United. So Chelsea have bought well for a change. They've actually gone and signed some, I would say, top class players this summer rather than what seemed like just an all out approach to sign anybody last season. They have signed a lot of other players, but I think they've also bought really good players for the first team. The challenge, though, which I've pointed out last season, is when you have a new manager, when you have a whole new bunch of players working together, it takes time for these things to click. They
Yep.
will make top seven, but I don't see them getting in the top four just because I think by the time they start to click, it'll be November, December, where the likes of City, Arsenal, and Liverpool have built a 5, 10 point gap ahead of them, and it's going to be hard trying to close that gap.
Yep.
Um, I've talked about just understand is like it's very little things at the top level. I remember I was watching the Arsenal Leon game this weekend, right? And even though Saka was, I think this was just his second game in preseason, you could see the understanding between him, Odegaard, and Ben White. Like just those three could run triangles around five players trying to defend them, just because there's an understanding of if Odegaard plays the ball to Saka in this role, I know the position I need to be in that space. And it's just little things like that, building chemistry amongst two, three players on different sides. You tend to have at clubs when you're playing 11v11 you have units, right? You have to build understanding. You're building understanding between your two, right? You have Rodri building understanding with De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. You have Guardiola and Diaz or Akonji. No, like it's very little things that it takes that makes a difference at the top. And to get into the top four, I don't think Chelsea will have built that chemistry by the time the season starts, especially because you're still signing players, especially because you still don't have that top level striker as you've mentioned. Jackson did well in the
Jackson
in
is coming
in
back.
the first.
He's recovering right now.
Who's coming back?
Jackson, right, is recovering right now, so it's gonna be fully fresh.
He's back. He's back.
Yeah, it's gonna be fresh for them.
So I mean, he didn't do bad in his first season. He scored
Surprisingly,
18 goals, which is impressive.
his stats were great. Like I mean, he scored a lot of goals despite the misses.
Not
So let's see how the coach lines up. I
I just
don't
want to
think
call this out that from October 19, Chelsea is playing Liverpool at Anfield,
mhm.
Newcastle United at Stamford Bridge, Manchester United next at Old Trafford, then Stamford Bridge, Arsenal. So Leicester City, then Aston Villa. So I just want you to know that's how your destiny will be decided between October and December.
as for Manchester United, um, Ten, Ten Hag, I agree to an extent with Charles, right? So Ten Hag has been doing an okay job. I know there was a lot of debate about whether he would get fired, and honestly, it's confusing sometimes when Ten Hag is talking. I think that his biggest communication in the club or his biggest problem in the club might be communication.
Communication.
Because when you watch him give press conferences and he gives an opinion of what happened during the game. I don't know if he's just saying that to the media, but you watch a team where they were maybe the defense played absolutely horribly, or the attack missed a lot of clear chances, and he comes out and says, "Oh, I saw a lot of good things. Rashford will score 30 goals this season," and you're like, "This guy hasn't scored in 3 months. How do you like? What are you seeing?" Like, so sometimes what he says conflicts with what you're seeing.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, he's won a trophy every single season. He won the Carabao Cup in his first season. He won the FA Cup in his second season. And this summer, the new owners have backed him and they're spending. So De Ligt is a good buy. Like you said, it's a replacement. It's not an upgrade necessarily. They've lost Varane. They're bringing in De Ligt. Maguire has been struggling with injury. Their other centre back is Johnny Evans and Lisandro Martinez. So I can see the league starting easily. We know he wasn't at the same level he was at Ajax when he went to Bayern. So the question is whether he can find those levels of consistency at Manchester United again, and who his partner will be. Will he be partnered with Lisandro Martinez? Will he be what's his name, Lindelof? Will it be Maguire? Mazraoui will definitely start. They've sold Wan-Bissaka, so that seems like a like for like replacement. Mazraoui is a very reliable defender. Can he support the attack? That's a question that remains to be seen. And up front, I haven't seen anything from Manchester United in preseason. It didn't help that they lost Højlund, who was at least looking sharp and who, even though he's not the best of strikers, has been their brightest and most capable striker. Zexi, I've read, has been training on his own, so it seems like he wasn't quite ready to go on tour with the team. And Ten Hag has said they will have to build him up. So Zexi is not going to be a starter, or if he starts, I don't think Ten Hag is expecting him to do much necessarily. Sancho has been woeful in preseason. No disrespect, I'm just calling it as I've seen it.
This thing now is a living. There are rumors that I mean, PSG is interested. That's not a rumor. Are you sure it's going to be there by Friday? I
Sancho?
don't know.
Why would they buy Sancho? That would
PSG is interested.
that would be surprising if they sign Sancho. I wouldn't understand any top club signing Sancho at the moment.
I
He's
mean,
really low on confidence. I don't know why. And
so
he's
as it is
being
for them,
played out
right?
of position as well because he was played as the
What
false
is
nine
his best position? Wing, right?
on the right. Yeah, right wing.
Right. So it means for Man United they have Sancho and Anthony.
Anthony.
Which one is better?
Anthony
Ahmad
has,
has been starting, and
oh,
Ahmad has actually looked better than
Oh,
those two.
that's out.
Anthony has
Ahmad.
promised a lot of goals this season.
Oh, he promised a lot of goals. Like
He has
their
promised a
goalkeeper
lot.
that he's going to take
He
a lot
said
of risk.
expect goals and assists from me this season.
Yeah, I know Nana is saying, yeah, you expect a lot of
Yeah.
risk.
Just leave it on that.
Everybody's
Everybody,
promising.
everybody's promising. Mister, if
Everybody.
I promise I'll be a billionaire very soon. I'm promising you guys.
Well, I mean, Friday is almost there. It's going to be a fun game. Man United, Fulham. We're going to see. Yeah,
But I got a few things to drop for you though, based on what you guys have said so far. And I don't even know where to start. But let me start from
Let's have
preseason.
it. Let's have it.
Yes, preseason. You said I don't know what the phrase you used or the statement you made. I don't
Hey, you don't
respect.
pay attention to preseason.
I don't pay attention.
don't
I
care
pay
about.
attention.
You said that you don't care about.
Yeah, no, I pay attention. I just don't value it as much as people value it because the season
So what do
is.
you take out of preseason?
Let me give it to you this way. This season is so long. The number of games you play in this season are so minute compared to the number of games you're going to play in this season. So many things will happen. Injuries will happen. Players will drop form. Players will rise in form. Preseason is not enough for me to gauge what the team will do. Last year, but Biodo said, I'm making that statement because we're bad in preseason. Last summer, we weren't bad in preseason. We actually won a trophy in preseason. And we all know how the season went. So, and this is not something new. I've never really gauged it. I watch preseason for fun. I don't gauge it based on what the team is going to do. Hold on. Let me just drop all the points because I have a lot of things to say. I don't want to take too much time. So I don't rate preseason. I really don't. A team can do great in preseason and then flop they may win the first 5 games and then drop from there. Anything can happen. That's number one. Liverpool, they are doing great in preseason. I agree. But because they haven't bought anybody, I think that's going to show at some point in the season. I know they're playing good right now. They have a new coach. He thinks he doesn't need to buy anybody. But I think the best teams that perform during the league always buy one or two players to improve themselves. You are losing Carvalho, and I don't know who else they've sold, but you're not buying replacements. At some point, it's going to show. You mentioned their DM position for Endo. You mentioned, I mentioned Nunes up front. Those are weaknesses that they are refusing to fix. At some point, it's going to show during the season. And they have a new coach.
Allow me to respond.
Wait, now I'm not done. They have a new
I'm
coach. They
just
have a
kidding.
new coach who is still getting to know the players and the league. He's new to the league also. So I think at some point, Liverpool, I put Liverpool as number 5. They are 5th on my list because the coach is new and they have not bought anybody. I think that's a problem. I will show eventually. Now, you made a statement about Villa being top 4. I think what happened to Newcastle will happen to Villa. Europe will be a problem for them. Fitting Europe into their schedule along with playing the league will be a problem. And I don't think Villa is going to make top 4 this season because they're going to be playing in Europe. What else? Manchester United. I didn't know what I wanted to say about them, but basically, Ten Hag, I think Ten Hag has, you mentioned about them buying players here and there. Xerxes is not yet fit, like I said, the season is very long. All these things you guys are saying right now, in the next 5-6 games can be fixed. Xerxes can come back and start banging in goals. Their defense, they can figure out their best centre-back pairing and boom, they'll be fine. The summary of it is, I think because Ten Hag has been there, just like Arteta has been there, just like Pep has been there, these guys know the league better than a lot of all these other managers. They know what to do to get those results. That's why I think Man U will make the top 4 eventually. I took Liverpool because, like I said, they have a new coach and they're not signing anybody. Okay. Now, the most bold statement you made was about Chelsea, me not putting Chelsea in contention. That is wrong. The only person in my top 4 who I fixed the position for is Manchester City. Everybody else I did not fix a position for. I said Manchester City, Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea. So Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea can be flipped. It could be any position. So that shows you I'm putting Chelsea in contention. But I'm also very, very respectful of Pep.
Like to win the league?
Yeah?
Like to win the league?
He didn't
like
say
I
that.
said, hear me out. You gotta hear it correctly.
It's not that crazy.
Hear me out, please.
You said yes. That's what I wanted to clarify.
He said only Man City.
He
said he's always sure of Man City winning.
So this is it. If you wake me at 2 a.m. and ask me, would you take a win in Premier League 2024? I'll pick City. Just like I expect you guys to pick City. Because they won 4 in a row. It's a no-brainer. They won 4 in a row. You said them to win the 5th one.
Doesn't matter.
Now, hold on, Biodun. Now, who are my 2, 3, 4? Because if you are 2, 3, 4, it means you are challenging for it. Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but you are challenging for it. You guys were second last year. You challenged to the last day. So my 2, 3, 4 is Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea in no particular order. So Chelsea is challenging because they could be second. They could be third. So that's the thing I'm putting Chelsea in contention because of who we signed. Now we have a new coach. I understand we have a new coach, but he has the 1 year experience under Pep. So I think that may apply for something. Once he figures out his starting team, I think there's hope there. So in summary, I am putting Chelsea in contention. I'm just not putting Chelsea as number 1 because Pep is still City's manager.
You can't put Chelsea as number 1.
So hold on, let me ask you a question. I just want to ask a clarifying question.
Ask him if he has finished his points.
Are you saying Chelsea has a chance to win the league like Leicester has a chance to win the league? Or you are saying Chelsea has a chance to win the league because the top 4 teams are the most likely to win the league? I just want to clarify.
Chelsea has a chance to win the league like Arsenal has a chance to win the league.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So they're a title contender this season.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying top 4, City number 1, and in no particular order, Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea. That's my top 4.
I take it. Okay.
I hope this out. If I have another one, I'll let you know. Building, you can respond. I think you want to say.
I want to smoke what you are smoking. Charles, calm down. See, okay, I don't even know where to start.
Start from the beginning.
Let me ask you this. I get your point about the new manager. Trust me, they are want Liverpool to crash. Yes, because they are a contender. Do I want them to crash? Yes. Do I want City to crash? Yes. But we don't know yet until we start seeing the games.
Of course.
One
Well,
thing.
predictions.
So my question is this: when people say a manager is new, let's say manager is new, but the players are not new, the players are veterans, does that cancel out? I think that's the question that people haven't really thought about. And what do I mean by that? Take Liverpool as an example. You have veterans: Salah, Jota, Diaz. That's the front three. Now it could change, right? Nunes and by the way, I want to speak about Nunes. I would take Nunes in a second. If somebody said Nunes is available in the market, I will take him. Just so you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Nunes other than a manager working with Nunes to say, calm down, it's your target. Nunes does everything else. It's just the target. And that can be fixed. It can be fixed. Any manager to say, calm down, you are the striker. See, strikers like their egos to be massaged. And that's when they deliver. You need to tell them everything they want to hear. Nunes does everything. The work rate is chaotic. He will win the ball. He will fight you. He doesn't give up. It's just
dribble, will pass.
It's just the target. So if you can fix the target, forget. We are all in trouble. We are all in trouble if you can fix that accuracy and start scoring. So don't rule him out. Number one, Gakpo is more clinical, but it's not as physical or strong as Nunes. So, but they have Jota. We all know that Jota is prone to injury. So I don't see Jota playing the entire season. They'll have issues with that. Jota will get injured.
Especially with what it looks like Slot is trying to do with pressing.
Exactly. So I think he's trying to manage them. That's why he said, so I don't think anybody should blame him. Now, are you right? People will definitely have injuries with Champions League and everything. He might still get players. His market closes 31st. Anything can happen. We don't know. These people are talking to people who have no idea. Pedro Neto, like you said, happened within 48 hours. That's crazy. Pedro Neto happened within 48 hours. Anything can happen. So don't doubt. But I'm saying the effect of Slot being new can be countered with players that are veteran, that they already established and know Premier League. Van Dijk, Arnold, Alexander Arnold, Simicas, all these guys are regulars. They've played the Premiership. So all the coach needs to do is understand them, win their trust, and they will play for him. So that's number one. You can't say that about Chelsea because Chelsea has the two problems. They not only have a new manager, but they have new players and young players. That is different from Liverpool. Liverpool have experienced an older player. The only thing is new manager. You have a new manager and a new team. And you are making that problem complicated by adding to the team. Those players are not playing like this is what the coach, they are playing to win the shirt. That's the problem within Chelsea. People are playing to win a shirt right now. I mean, if you could treat Conor Gallagher like that, nobody is certain of pinning down a shirt if you're not Kopama. You understand what I mean? So he's got to figure out. Then you made me laugh when you said he has 1 year experience under Pep. Are you mad? Is that what we are talking about here?
That's what I'm talking.
I thought that carried 2.5 years of experience. Did you win the league the first time? It doesn't happen like that. Bro, it's resources. I'll give you another example. Bayern Munich versus Tottenham. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The coach of Bayern Munich right now is Vincent Kompany. He coached Burnley. Last season, Tottenham destroyed them. Burnley will not come and face Tottenham and come feeling that they're going to get a 3 point. But look at the 2 preseason games. They played twice preseason. I don't know if you guys followed, right?
Yeah, Bayern
beat them, even though Tottenham tried, but Bayern beat them. And I was talking to my friends, right? And I'm like, can you just see? Resources matter. The personnel matter.
Yeah,
that is Vincent Kompany being handed a new team and a better team, a better team on quality. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just beat Tottenham. He beat an experienced manager. So sometimes it counts. You might be good, Maresca might be good, but if you don't have the resources as Pep, it doesn't change anything. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You need the resources to perfect the strategy you want to execute.
Let me say this quick to respond to you. And Slot is new, is not the only factor. I mentioned they haven't bought anybody. I mentioned the DM role, which you brought up, is an issue.
Yeah,
I brought that up.
yourself. I agree with you on that.
Exactly. So my point is, and slots being new is not the only issue. And I understand what you're saying. The veteran players, they can match up, they can make up for that. But so far,
But they
they
have the
haven't.
numbers,
Hold on.
Charles.
They
They have
haven't
the
bought
numbers. It
any.
might not be the
I know, but they
quality,
haven't
but they
bought
have the
any
numbers.
new.
They have the squad.
They haven't bought any new players. I think it's a bigger issue than having a new coach. That's my opinion. You may not like it, but that's my opinion. For
So when you say
Chelsea,
they haven't bought the player,
let, let,
Charles, you give us an example of if they lose. So if they lose Endo, I believe Gravenberch can come in. It might not be the same quality. That's all I'm saying.
okay,
They
so
have the
here's the thing.
backup
Here's the
might not
thing.
be good.
Hear me out. There's something about having new players in a team that gingers the players. They know someone is challenging for their shirts. They have to step up. Yes, and these guys don't have that threat. These guys can play as they played last season because there's nobody to challenge them for their positions. They have the same guys who challenged last year, the same guys are going to face this year. So if I was better than Jota last year and I only have Jota to challenge with this year, I don't have any new face to tackle me. I'm good. That's Liverpool's issue. Like I said, Liverpool is number 5 for me. And the main issue is because they have not bought any new players. Even Pep buys new players every summer. 1, 2, 3 here. Liverpool have bought 0. That's an issue. Whether you like it or not, it's an issue. Now, like you said, they have a few days to go, so they may step up. We'll see. As for Chelsea, you said Chelsea they bought new team, but we all know they're probably going to loan half of them or 80% of them out. Chelsea still have some players that they had last year who have played together for a year plus. So they are newer than Liverpool. They're not as new as you're making it seem. We have players who Sterling have been there like 3 years now or so. You understand? We have players who know the same thing. Palmer just joined last summer, but we know he gelled. The likes of Nkuku, the likes of Reece James, Chiwo, they've been there.
Signing for you.
I'm sorry?
Nkuku is a new signing for you. He basically didn't.
But he's been there for a year.
He basically,
that's
all I'm saying. He didn't play last season. You can't count that.
I am counting people who have been there for over a year. Nkuku has been over a year. Palmer, a year. Reece James,
even without playing. Lavia didn't play. I think he played maybe 1 or 2 games.
Hold on. Let's hear Chelsea's point.
Let me finish. I don't interrupt Biodo. I don't know why he keeps interrupting me. Let me finish. Reece James.
I want you to speak.
Hold on. Biodo, wait. I'm listening.
Sorry.
Reece James, Chilwell, and the likes of Reece James and Chilwell they've been there for years. The point I'm trying to make is you keep saying Chelsea has new players, new team. It's not a new team. We've bought new players, but it's not a new team. It's a new manager, but it's not a new team. So on the Anslot aspect, we can tackle that. But unlike Anslot, we've bought players. We've bought Pedro Neto. Hopefully, we're going to buy Osimhen. So there are people that we've gotten replacements. And of course, Jackson is there. Gui as his backup. My point is, I'm not saying Liverpool will not perform. You are backing it off the fact that preseason is going good. But I'm telling you, preseason is 5 games. If it's too much. The whole season is 38 games in the league, and then there's Champions League, and then there's FA Cup, and preseason has no weight to what's going to happen in the league. If Liverpool tomorrow, if Salah gets injured tomorrow, forget all the Gakpo and the newness. If Salah gets injured tomorrow, Liverpool is in trouble. Salah alone really is the strength of the attack of Liverpool. If Salah gets, I know Gakpo fires, I know Nunes fires, I know Jota does his job, but if Salah alone gets injured, Liverpool is done in attack. So the fact that they didn't buy replacement, it will show. By the time they get to game 10, game 15, it will show. So that's my point for Liverpool. I'm not against that. I like Liverpool. But my point is they didn't buy a new player. I think it's going to affect them at some point. And as for Chelsea, yeah, you are saying we have a new team, but a lack of Pedro Neto has EPL experience. He can come into the team and instantly gel. He has the EPL experience. So technically, he's a new player, but it's not a new league for him. So I'm not. And now, my prediction is not take out emotion. I'm predicting how I see it can happen. Man U, Arsenal, City all have experienced coaches, experienced sense of EPL experience. Chelsea, on the other hand, we've bought reasonable number of players that the guys who slacked last year can be replaced. So that's why I'm putting these guys at top 4. Aston Villa will not make it because they're playing in Europe. What happened to Newcastle? What happened to them? Liverpool, they've not bought new players. Spurs will do what Spurs does best. So there's a reason why I put people where I put them. Go ahead, Ola.
I was just going to say I agree with you to an extent for Liverpool, and I don't think you mentioned that specific area, but the area I see maybe that problem affecting them is in defense because they're a bit light at the back. So in
Yes, yes.
censored defense, they have Konate and Van Dyke. There were maybe suggestions that Van Dyke is approaching or maybe past his best.
Mhm.
And beyond Konate, they have Kwanzaa. They've let go of Matip and they haven't replaced. So they have three center backs really, and Kwanzaa, as we know, is still a young player. So, to an extent, if there's an injury there to either Konate or Van Dijk, I could see them
Oh,
struggling in defense. In defensive midfield, I don't think it's an issue as much because beyond Endo, they've played McAllister there,
uh,
and Soboslai to an extent can fit in there. So to an extent, I'm not too concerned about their midfield or their attack. I think they have options there, but in defense, they could face problems. Yeah.
Can I just, for the sake of argument and all that, we're all going to find out. Season's going to
Yeah.
start.
Oh yeah.
But
definitely.
I'm going to say this, and I'm very sure of this. Liverpool is going to finish ahead of Chelsea. That's what I'm going to
Yeah,
say.
I can confirm that as well.
I know
Okay.
you disagree, but do not
Yeah, I
forget
disagree.
that statement. You can write it down. I am very sure that Liverpool will finish ahead of Chelsea. I know you disagree, but write it down.
Okay.
I agree on that as well. All right. Do you guys see any surprise packages this season? Any team that might maybe pose a surprise and break that top seven list that we've just called out? Arsenal, City, Man U, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, Villa. Is there any team that could enter that? Palace, I think you said Palace earlier, Biodun, but they've let go of Olise now. So, and there's
Olise
some
is
doubt
Amade
about
is
Eze.
going to go. Eberechi Eze will not have
So
any support.
is there any other team? Is there any other team that could
Yeah,
challenge the top
I've been
seven?
thinking about that. To be honest, I don't see. I
I
think
don't.
another question I wanted to raise is who are the top three that will relegate? I don't know, but but I really don't
For
see
the
any
for
three.
the three, I'm counting the same three that are coming up, and I'm going to throw Nottingham Forest in there. I think
I
As
it's
think
usual.
three of
Nottingham
these.
Forest might not survive this time.
What's that?
Nottingham Forest might not survive this time.
Yeah,
So I'm between Nottingham Forest, Ipswich because I haven't seen them,
Yeah.
Southampton, and Leicester. I think three
yeah.
out of those four. I think three out of those four, Nottingham, Leicester, Southampton, and Ipswich. I think three out of those four are going. Now, back to your previous question. I Not that I believe so much, I'm giving them like 60% chance. I see West Ham making top eight.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'll just say
So
West Ham
not
top
top
eight.
seven, but top eight.
Yeah, maybe top eight. But again, it's still like a fantasy. Maybe they'll end up 9 or 10. But I see West Ham doing better than last season
No, last
because
season.
of
Let me
now
say something.
they have Fulkrug, Kudus, and
Yeah.
Jared Bowen. I thought somebody was going to buy Jared Bowen, but that didn't happen. So they're going to
Yeah.
keep Jared Bowen, Kudus, and Fulkrug, and they still have Antonio. And now they get to Wan-Bissaka, and they
Wan
have a
Bissaka.
new manager that is experienced from Spain. So the reason why I put Aston Villa there is not just because it's Aston Villa, it's because of the manager that has European experience. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that Charles is not seeing.
No,
He
I don't.
basically
I know
was
about
one of
it.
the reasons why Arsenal couldn't make it last season. So do not write off Emery. And
I
that's
won't.
why I think he can manage. I think he can manage that European challenge and the local competition.
Yeah. All right.
So
Last thoughts, Charles, and then we wrap
let
up.
me ask you a question real quick. In regards to Emery, I think Emery will make top seven, top eight, but I don't think he's going to make top four. And the experience will help him stay there. For surprise, I agree with Gordon, West Ham. With buys they've made this summer, I really agree. But I actually think, forget about surprising up front, in the sense of surprise, someone breaking into the top eight. I think they're going to be a surprise drop. I don't know who it's going to be, but among the three that are going to drop, I think it's going to be someone that we didn't see coming. Maybe I'll have a prediction later, but not now.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say my surprise maybe would be Newcastle dropping off and what's his name getting fired halfway through the
Dropping
season.
off from what?
Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
I mean, he finished top four the first season, or was it top six? I don't remember. And then they were terrible last season with injuries, and
No, top four. It
they
was, it
haven't,
was in Champions.
yeah, and they haven't upgraded the squad any because they don't really have money. Yes, they're talking about buying McKay, but I don't think defense has really ever been their problem.
It was last
Uh,
seague.
Mm.
They had time where the defenders were just like out. Remember, they were trying to get a loan for several players. Fabian
Yeah.
Shah, everybody just got injured around the same time. So they struggled
Yeah,
with that defense a lot last season.
that's my surprise pick anyway, to drop off and first manager to get fired.
When you
Eddie
say
Howe?
drop off, you mean get
Yeah.
relegated? Oh
Wow.
wow.
Oh no, not to get relegated. I'm just saying to start the season off terribly and to have their manager
You
fired.
think Eddie Howe will get fired before Maresca?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
really
think
love
so.
coming for us, don't you, Jordan?
It's probably a toss up
Anyways,
between those two, but I think maybe anyhow. See, Charles, one last thing I was going to say. For me, preseason is an indication of how the teams are going to start. I think it's an indication of the 5, 10 teams. And it's not so much that it's an indication of who will finish top four. It's the fact that if your goal is top four, top six, how you start, if you're not up there by November, if you're still trying to figure things out by October, November, the people who had it together in preseason are ready to go have left you behind. There's already a 5, 10 point gap. And when those guys start off firing, when they already know what they're doing and they've shown that again in preseason, like, I mean, it's I can guarantee it's going to be City and Arsenal in the top two again this season. One, because of what I've seen Pep do, and two, because I've seen Arsenal adding new things in this preseason on top of what they've been doing. They're adding new opportunities to attack. They've added a new defender to what was the best defense in the league. Those two will battle it out again. And you see those indications in preseason.
yeah, I agree with you. Preseason indicates how you're going to start. But if I've learned one thing, which we all should know, how you finish is what matters, not how you start. And if I learned something from Chelsea's season last season, how you finish has very little indication of how you're going to end. Chelsea, we all know how Chelsea started. We all know where we ended last season. So, and it's not
You
just
guys
I
made it
didn't just
Europe.
I didn't stop.
You
I
guys
didn't
have
stop.
Europe this season too. You haven't mentioned that.
We do. Yeah,
You're
we
going to
do.
be
I
playing
know.
in places like
But
Slovenia
we have the players for it.
and
We are, like
Slovakia.
Bill said, we have three teams. The point is, I didn't stop what's the word? Devaluing preseason now. I've been doing it for years. I've never really
Oh
cared
yeah.
about preseason because preseason is just 5 games for Christ. You can win all 5 and then start the season and nothing happens.
I think you're understanding it differently. It's not
No,
just
I'm
a
not. I'm
number.
not.
It's
All I'm saying
readiness.
is, all I'm saying.
Preseason is
Hold on.
basically
Let me finish my
readiness.
thought, Jordan. All I'm saying is, what I just said is right. Preseason shows how you start, and you may start well, and we get to November, December, but we all know some people get to November, December on top and still fall off, and we all know some people in November, December are 11th and still rise to 6th and 5th. So the season is so long, I can't judge it all 5 games. I'm sorry, I just can't. It's just too little for me to
All
the
right.
38-game season. It's just too little. That's my opinion.
We know where you stand. All right. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back again after the first round of games. We'll be previewing the second week.
Yep.
And, the transfer window is still open for the first 2 weeks of the season. So there is still going to be a lot of movement happening through the end of August. So
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Chelsea
Thanks,
Maybe
is signing.
Liverpool
everybody.
buy someone and I'll change
Chelsea
my
is signing
prediction.
Portable before 31st. Portable. I heard they after Portable.